Very good morning to everyone. So I want to begin today with a small experiment. So think of something, anything that you have been trying to improve about yourself, your health, your sleep, your eating habits, your reading, your peace of mind, just about anything. Just think about it. And now, just tell honestly, even to your own self, how's it going? And if you're like most of us, the answer is somewhere between could be better and let's not talk about it. And here's the interesting part, it's rarely because you don't care, because you care deeply. It's rarely because you don't know what to do, because you know. And it's rarely even because you don't try, because actually you do try. So, what's missing? So, I'll tell you what's missing. And it's something so simple, so unassuming that most people overlook it entirely. So you're not watching. So today, I want to give you a tool that athletes, doctors, coaches, and some of the most grounded and effective people in the world use quietly, consistently to keep improving. Of course, it's not a complicated system, not a life overhaul, just a small, powerful practice. So today's session is about the habit tracking challenge. Yes. So let's begin with this opening thought that what gets tracked gets improved. Let me say that again. What gets tracked gets improved, not what gets planned, not what gets wished for, not what gets discussed in detail over evening tea. What gets tracked. So let me tell you something about how athletes get better. Not just cricketers or tennis players, any athlete at any level. They train, yes. They work hard, definitely yes. But the thing that separates the one who improve from the ones who plateau, they measure constantly, systematically, honestly. You know, a cricketer knows his batting average. A swimmer knows her lap times. A runner knows exactly how many minutes per kilometer she ran last Tuesday and whether that's better or worse than the Tuesday before. They don't measure to feel bad about themselves. They measure so they know where they are. So a small slip doesn't become a big drift. So improvement, even tiny improvement, becomes visible. And visible improvement is the most motivating thing in the world. Yes. So now you might say, oh, that's fine for athletes. I'm not competing with anyone. And to that I say, neither are we. We are not tracking to compete. We are tracking to see ourselves clearly, to be our own honest, kind, attentive coach. Yes. Because here's what nobody tells you, you are already performing every day. Your sleep, your movement, your habits, your choices, they all add up to something, right? The only question is whether you are watching the score or playing blindfolded. So let me give you three reasons. Yes, this actually works. And you need to understand that. And I'll try to make them as real as I can. Number one, habit tracking builds accountability. Yes, the quiet kind. So let me tell you about Shreya. She manages a team at work, does it brilliantly. She's the person others come to when they need structure, clarity, follow through. And at work, she has dashboards, reports, weekly reviews. She knows how her team is doing at any given moment. But her own habits, those run on hope and good intentions alone. No dashboard, no review, no way to know at the end of a week whether she actually rested enough, moved her body enough, paused long enough to breathe. And now imagine Shreya gives herself the same gentle attention she gives her team. Not intense surveillance, just a small, honest, weekly check-in with herself. And within a month, Shreya notices something. She's far more likely to do something if she knows she'll be writing it down. Not because she fears the blank box, but because the blank box is visible. And visibility changes behavior quietly, naturally, without force. So she's not being judged by anyone. She's simply watching herself with the same professional respect she gives everyone else. And number two, visual progress increases motivation. Let me tell you, more than almost anything else. So let's talk about Kamlaji. She's a homemaker in her 60s who decided last year to start a small gratitude practice. Just writing three things she was grateful for before bed. A beautiful idea. She started well. Then, as these things go, some nights she forgot, then forgot more, and the notebook was somewhere under the bed, and the whole thing quietly dissolved. And this year, she tries something different. A simple paper tracker. Yes, 7 boxes on a page, one for each day of the week. And every night she writes her three things and makes a tick in the box. And here's what she tells me a few weeks in. I don't know why, but I really don't want an empty box. And that is not willpower. That is not discipline. That is the psychology of visual progress. It is extraordinarily powerful. The chain of ticks on that page tells a story. I showed up Monday, I showed up Tuesday, I showed up Wednesday, and the story itself becomes the motivation to continue it. And the Japanese call this Seinfeld's chain, named after the comedian Jerry Seinfeld, who used to mark a red cross mark on a calendar every day he wrote jokes. His only rule was don't break the chain. He didn't focus on the quality of the jokes. He focused on the crosses. The cross is the point. The chain is the magic. Yes. Number three, small daily wins build identity. And now, our gentleman, let me tell you about Narendra Bhai. He's 64, recently retired, and feels, as many people do after retirement, a little unmoored. The structure of the working life is gone. The sense of daily purpose, like of being someone who does things, feels less clear than it used to. So he starts a habit tracker. Nothing ambitious, just 5 habits: walk, water, 10 minutes of reading, one call to a family member, and sleep at a reasonable hour. Yes, just 5 things. And something interesting happens over the weeks. Narendra Bhai stopped saying, "Oh, I used to be someone who," and he starts saying, "I am someone who walks every morning. I'm someone who reads. I'm someone who stays in touch." The tracker didn't just record habits, it built an identity. So, this is perhaps the deepest gift of habit tracking and least talked about one. Every tick in that box is a vote cast for the person you are choosing to become. And enough votes, cast consistently, change not just what you do, but who you believe yourself to be. And that is not a small thing. In fact, that is everything. So let's do today's reflection exercise, our 7-day challenge. So I genuinely hope you take it on. So, what I want you to do is please create a 7-day habit tracker. It can be on paper, in a diary, even in your phone notes. But as we are learning graphology, it's better to write. So, whatever feels real to you, and track these 5 habits daily for 1 week. Please note this down. One is water. So, you have to track, did I drink enough today? Even just note how many glasses, a number, that's it. It's 3 glasses, 5 glasses, whatever it comes, whatever you do actually by the end of the day. But track your water drinking. Number 2, exercise or movement. Like, did I move my body today? Even a 10-minute walk as a starting point is good enough. Even climbing the stairs instead of standing still. Yes or no? That's it. Number 3, reading. Did I read anything today? A book, an article, something that stretched my mind, even 5 pages, even 2? Yes or no? Did I do it or not? Number 4, gratitude. Did I notice and write down at least one thing I'm grateful for today? One thing. And that's enough. Yes. And number 5, sleep. Did I sleep and wake at a reasonable time? Did I feel rested? One word. Good, okay, poor is a complete entry. 5 habits, 7 days, one small mark per day. And the one rule, and the most important rule, which I want you to carry with you, track without judgment. Yes. No, you don't need to judge yourself. A blank box is not a failure. It's information. It says, yesterday was hard, nothing more. No story about your character, your worth, your chances. Just yesterday was hard, and today is a new box. So fill the new box. That's it. So I want to leave you with something I think about often, that we live in a world that is extremely good at measuring the wrong things. It measures our weight, our wealth, our productivity, our appearance, and uses those numbers to tell us whether we are enough, whether we are succeeding, whether we deserve to feel good about ourselves. The habit tracker asks a completely different question. It doesn't ask, how much did you achieve? It asks, did you show up for yourself today? Did you drink your water? Did you move your body? Not look a certain way, but because it carries you through the world. Did you rest? Did you pause for even a moment to notice something beautiful in your day? And these are not small questions. These are the questions of a life lived with intention. And the tracker, that simple grid of 7 days and 5 habits, is not a report card. It's a love letter written to yourself by yourself in the quiet language of showing up. So here is your call to action for the day. This week, make your tracker, keep it somewhere you'll see it, and every evening for 7 days, sit down with it and ask yourself, did I show up for myself today? And whatever the answer, write it down honestly, kindly, the way you would speak to someone you love. Because I want to end with this. The most important relationship you'll ever be in is the one you have with your own self. Yes. So this tracker is simply a way of tending to it. Start today. So with that thought, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you.